They said the first day at a new job defines everything. If that's true, then mine was defined by one wrong click. I had been at Crown Dynamics Limited for barely a week, fresh out of an MSc, still learning how to navigate the coffee machine. I was trying to send a playful email to my best friend, complaining about my fine but proud boss, Mr. Femi Cole, the youngest CEO in Lagos tech industry. Instead of to Zainab, my trembling fingers sent it to Femi Cole. Subject: This man is fine Shah, but too full of himself, weary face. If he ever smiles, maybe I'll consider crushing officially. The second I realized it, my blood pressure broke the internet. I gasped, unplugged my laptop, and seriously considered faking my death. Minutes later, a soft knock came on my cubicle. It was him. Impossibly tall. Expensive suit hugging him like sin. The kind of face that could ruin focus and reputation in one look. "Miss Temmie," he said in that deep voice that made vowels sound like silk. "Did you just send me something?" I opened my mouth, but my dignity left the chat. "Sir, it was a mistake, I swear. I was just venting. You know how Lagos stress can." He held up a hand, lips twitching like he was fighting a smile. "Relax. I'm not angry. But I'll have to keep this email for official record." Blinked. "Record?" "Yes," he said, stepping closer, the faint scent of expensive cologne wrapping around me. "So next time you crush on your CEO, you'll remember there are consequences." He walked away, leaving me blushing and speechless. For days, I avoided him like tax collectors. But somehow we kept crossing paths, the elevator, the hallway, even the company cafeteria. And every time he would say something that made my heart forget its rhythm. "Careful with those files, Miss Temmie," he'd tease. "Wouldn't want another slip-up." It was playful at first. Until one late evening, I stayed behind to finish reports. The office was empty, the city outside humming softly. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and his shadow appeared at my desk. "I didn't know you were still here," he said. "I was just finishing." "Good. Because I needed to talk to you." He leaned on the edge of my desk, eyes dark, smile calm but unreadable. "You're hardworking, Mart. But you have this way of making trouble without even trying." My throat tightened. "I'm sorry if I've done anything wrong." He chuckled lowly. "Not wrong. Just dangerous." The air changed. Warmth. Tension. Electricity. He brushed a pen off the desk. It fell between us, rolling slowly until it stopped beneath his desk. He looked at me, eyes glinting. "Since you started this, Miss Temmie, be a good girl and pick it up." My breath hitched. The way he said good girl made my pulse skip. I crouched under the desk, heart pounding, hands trembling as I reached for the pen. Then his hand brushed mine. Just a graze, but it burned. Eyes met. And in that silent space beneath the CEO's desk, something forbidden was born. The next morning I came to work 30 minutes early. Partly to redeem my reputation, mostly to escape my thoughts. But thoughts have legs, and mine wore a suit. Mr. Cole walked in, his cologne announcing him before his voice did. "Good morning, Miss Temmie." His tone was calm, but that spark in his eyes lingered, like last night's air hadn't cleared. "Good morning, sir," I said, forcing a polite smile, fingers glued to my keyboard like typing could save my soul. He moved closer to my desk, setting a file down. "You stayed late yesterday." "Yes, sir. I was finalizing the reports for the quarterly review." He nodded, but his gaze didn't move from my face. "Efficient. I like that." Then he leaned slightly closer. "And next time you're under my desk, try not to look that nervous. The carpet's innocent." Froze. My heart misbehaved. "Sir, that was just an accident." He smiled, finally walking away, leaving my entire body warm and confused. Over the next few weeks, we became a silent storm. He never crossed the line, but he stood so close to it that I could feel the heat. Compliments disguised as professionalism. Late-night project meetings that somehow turned into laughter. A gaze that lingered too long. One night I stayed late again. Lagos rain poured outside loud and heavy. Power blinked twice, and the office fell into that moody half-dark that only temptation understands. He was in his office. The glass wall between us reflected thunder and restraint. Then he called softly, "Temi, can you step in for a moment?" I hesitated before entering. His tie was off, top buttons undone. He looked different, softer, human, dangerous. "I've been meaning to ask," he began, voice low. "Do you always work this hard? Or is it because I'm watching?" I laughed nervously. "Maybe both." He smiled, slow, knowing. "Honesty looks good on you." We stood there, the city's lightning flashing against the glass, our reflections dangerously close. Then he stepped toward me, the air shrinking. "Temi," he said, my name a whisper. "You're not supposed to make this office feel alive." My pulse was in my throat. "Sir, maybe we should." "Maybe we shouldn't," he murmured. The words hung heavy. Our eyes locked. No space, no rules. He brushed a strand of hair behind my ear, fingers grazing my skin. Then, just as our lips almost met, the lights came back on. Bright, merciless fluorescent reality. He blinked, stepped back, clearing his throat. "That's enough for tonight." I nodded, pretending to fix my blouse though nothing was out of place. "Good night, sir." As I walked out, he said quietly, "Temi, the line between work and desire is thinner than it looks." Outside, the rain had stopped, but my heartbeat hadn't. The office never really sleeps. Phones buzz, printers hum, and gossip travels faster than Wi-Fi. After that night in his office, things changed quietly. Femi and I kept it professional in public, but our eyes had their own conversations. Every meeting, every report review, every brush of his hand when passing a document, it all felt like a silent dare. I tried to bury the feelings under spreadsheets and coffee, but the break room had other plans. One Tuesday afternoon I was pouring coffee when Kara, the office's self-appointed gossip queen, walked in with her overly sweet smile. "So, Miss Temi," she began, leaning against the counter. "You and the boss seem close lately." Froze. "Close? Not really. I mean, we work together." She sipped her latte. "I saw you in his office late last week. Lone. Lights off. Very romantic lighting." Forced a laugh. "The power went out, Kara. You know how PHCN behaves." "Right." Her smirk widened. "Just be careful. Women who get too close to men like him usually end up crying." Her words lingered even after she left. Sharp, poisonous, and true in ways I didn't want to admit. Later that evening I found Femi in the hallway. He noticed my tension immediately. "Something wrong?" he asked. "People are talking," I said quietly. "I think Kara suspects something." He exhaled, stepping closer until his presence swallowed the space between us. "Let them talk. We haven't done anything wrong." "Yet," I said, meeting his gaze. That word hung there, yet. He looked at me, eyes softer than usual. "You're different, Temi. I've worked with many people, but no one's ever made me forget I'm at work." My heart stumbled. "And what am I supposed to do with that information?" "Whatever you want," he whispered. For a moment the office disappeared. The hum of the AC, the sound of distant typing, all faded. He reached for my wrist, his thumb brushing the pulse beneath my skin. My body reacted before my brain could warn me. But then footsteps. We broke apart instantly. Kara passed by, giving us a knowing look. I turned red. Femi simply straightened his tie like nothing had happened. Later he called me into his office again. The door shut behind me with a soft click. "She's watching us now," he said, voice low. "So if we're going to play this dangerous game, we play it smart." "Game?" I repeated, crossing my arms. "Is that what this is to you?" He moved closer. "No, Temi. It's what it's becoming if we keep pretending there's nothing here." I swallowed hard. "And what do we call it, then?" His lips curved slightly. "Let's not name it yet." Let's just feel it. He reached out, fingers tracing the edge of my collarbone, then stopped, a breath away from sin. That was the first night he didn't kiss me. But somehow it felt like he already had. When I got home that night I couldn't sleep. Because for the first time I realized, this wasn't about curiosity anymore. I wanted him. Completely. The company's annual gala was supposed to be just another night of speeches, fake smiles, and overcooked small chops. But that night the air between us was electric. I wore a simple black gown, elegant, safe. But when I walked in and saw Femi at the far end of the hall, every idea of safe evaporated. He was in a black tuxedo, bow tie loosened, glass of champagne in hand. His gaze found mine instantly, and time simply paused. "Temi," he said softly when I approached. His voice dipping into that tone only I knew. "You clean up well. And you look like trouble, sir," I teased, trying to stay composed. He smirked. "Trouble usually finds the right person." Throughout the evening we danced around each other, literally and emotionally. Our conversations were polite, but our eyes betrayed everything we couldn't say. Every time his fingers brushed mine, something inside me burned hotter. When the event finally ended, the hall emptied, laughter echoing down the corridors. I stayed behind to help the admin team clear up, but as I turned toward the exit, his voice stopped me. Temi froze. He was standing by the glass doors, jacket off, tie undone, that perfect mix of authority and sin. "I'll drive you home," he said. The ride was silent but heavy with everything unsaid. Lagos lights blurred through the tinted window as we drove in tense silence. My pulse was steady only because it had given up trying to behave. When we reached my apartment building, he didn't let me open the door immediately. His hand caught my wrist gently. "Temi," he said, voice low, eyes unreadable. "If I come upstairs, there's no going back." My chest tightened. "Then don't come up," I whispered. But he didn't move. And neither did I. Seconds stretched. The city outside buzzed with life, but in that car there was only us. Heat, breath, danger. Then he leaned in, slow enough for me to stop him, fast enough for me not to think. His lips brushed mine, soft, hesitant, then hungry. Melted. Every fear, every rule, every thought dissolved. The kiss deepened, long, forbidden, perfect. His hand slid to the back of my neck, drawing me closer until I could taste the edge of his restraint. Then he pulled away, breathing hard. "Tell me to stop," he whispered. I didn't. Couldn't. We stumbled into my apartment like two people trying to undo gravity. Every touch was confession, every kiss was chaos. The world outside ceased to exist. That night, beneath city lights and poor decisions, I stopped being just Temi the employee. I became Temi, the woman who made the CEO lose control. Hours later, I woke to find him watching me, shirt unbuttoned, expression unreadable. "This shouldn't have happened," he murmured. I sat up slowly. "Then why does it feel like it was meant to?" He smiled faintly, a rare, vulnerable thing. "You're trouble, Miss Temi." "And you like trouble," I whispered back. He kissed my forehead gently, like a promise disguised as a goodbye. But when he left that night, I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't ending anytime soon. Because when a secret burns this hot, it only stops when something or someone catches fire. 4 weeks after that night, we lived in a world that didn't exist on paper. At work we were boss and employee. Distant, professional, cold. But once the office lights dimmed and everyone left, the air between us transformed. Behind closed doors, he wasn't Mr. Cole. He was Femi. The man who whispered my name like it was something sacred. We had our rhythm. Quiet nights, stolen touches, secret smiles across boardrooms. No one knew, or so we thought. Until the first message arrived. "Nice necklace, Temi. The one you wore last Friday. Suits the CEO's bedsheets." I froze when I saw it on my desk Monday morning, typed on a small note card and signed. The handwriting was neat. The message poison. My fingers trembled as I crumpled the paper, but the words burned into my mind. That day I couldn't focus. I avoided Femi's gaze. When he finally cornered me after a meeting, his tone was sharp. "What's wrong with you today?" I hesitated. Then I showed him the note. He read it silently, jaw tightening, eyes darkening. "Who could've?" he started but stopped himself. "Kara." Blinked. "You think she knows? She's been watching us for weeks. Always around when she shouldn't be." His voice dropped. "Don't worry, I'll handle it." But he didn't. At least not fast enough. 2 days later, a photo slid under his office door. It was us, blurry but damning, from that night outside the gala. Me leaning into his car window, his hand on my face, his wedding ring gone. That was when I realized something terrifying. Someone wasn't just watching, they were waiting. "Maybe we should stop," I said quietly that evening. "Before this gets worse." He turned to me, eyes tired but fierce. "Temi, I can't stop. Not after this. You're risking everything. Your company, your reputation." "And what about you?" he asked, stepping closer. "You think I don't know how much this could hurt you too? The whispers, the judgment. Then why?" "Because I love you," he blurted out. The words hit me like thunder. We both froze. He'd said it before his mind could stop his heart. He took a breath, softer now. "I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. But I do." And for the first time I saw not the powerful CEO, but a man, trapped between the life he built and the woman who shook it all. My eyes stung. "Then let's fight it together," I said. That night, for the first time, we didn't hide. He held me in his office, lights dim, the city glowing through the glass like witnesses to our madness. And even as danger crept closer, our hearts, foolish, reckless, refused to back down. Started with an email. Subject: "Final warning." Attached was a video. Grainy but clear enough. Me and Femi, inside his office, sharing a kiss that was never meant for anyone else's eyes. The sender's address was anonymous. The message underneath read: 5 million Nigerian nairas or the world sees this. My hands shook as I showed him the screen. Femi's expression hardened into something fierce and frightening. "So that's their game," he muttered. He called a private meeting that same day. Security. Legal. He handled it like a crisis, but when we were alone, his mask fell. "They're trying to destroy you because of me," he said quietly, running a hand through his hair. "I can handle public scandal, Temi. But you don't deserve to bleed for this." I took his hand. "Then we bleed together." That night he asked me to trust him. "No matter what you see tomorrow," he said, eyes burning. "Don't panic. Just believe me." The next morning chaos broke loose. Company-wide meeting was called unexpectedly. Everyone gathered in the conference hall, whispering, curious. Kara sat near the front, her smirk barely hidden. Then Femi walked in. Calm, composed, the kind of calm that only storms have before they break. He connected his laptop to the projector. For a moment silence ruled. Then the same video flickered onto the screen, our video. Gasps filled the room. Tar froze. Kara's smirk widened. But instead of panic, Femi stood tall and said, "Yes, that's me. That's Temi. And before you start talking, let me explain something." He stepped forward, voice steady and proud. "I fell in love with her. Not because she worked for me, but because she reminded me what it means to feel again. If that makes me unfit to lead this company, I'll step down. But I will not let anyone use my heart as blackmail." The room went dead silent. Even Kara blinked, unsure of her next move. And then IT's head, a quiet man named Samuel, raised his hand. "Sir, we traced the blackmail email. It came from Kara's system." The room erupted. Kara's face drained of color. Within minutes, security escorted her out, her confidence crumbling like paper. Femi turned back to me. His expression soft now, raw, honest. "Temi," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "if you'll still have me after all this madness, I'm done hiding." The hall buzzed. People whispered. HR muttered policies under their breath. But none of that mattered. I walked toward him, trembling, tearful, defiant, and said, "Then let's not hide anymore." He smiled, really smiled, for the first time since I met him. And when he kissed me in front of everyone, the room forgot how to breathe. Weeks later, after the dust settled, he did something no one expected. He stepped down as CEO and started a new tech company, one we co-owned together. Different office, different rules, same desk. Only now we didn't have to hide beneath it. Some nights when we worked late, he'd lean over and whisper, "Still crushing on your boss?" And grin. "No. Now I'm in love with my partner." He'd pull me close, kiss my neck and say, "Good. Because I'm never letting my employee go again." And as the city lights glowed beneath our new window, I realized, every scandal, every whisper, every risk was worth it. Because beneath that desk, I didn't just find passion. I found forever.